So hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the 12 Days of Switchmas, and today I will be covering The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And this game is very good. It would have been a bit higher on the list, but the only reason it isn't is because I haven't finished the game. I haven't played like a decent chunk of the game. Like, I think I'm at least like halfway through the game, or if not a little more than that. But from what I've played, it is very good, and I'm definitely planning on finishing it soon. And it's definitely becoming one of my favorite 2D Zelda games, I would say. I love when Zelda games go in, like, weird and creative directions, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, but I feel like Echoes of Wisdom does it in a, like, it kind of retains a lot of what I loved about 2D Zelda. It doesn't really, like, sacrifice much, I would say. I mean, yeah, sure, it does have a different combat system with, like, rather than using a sword. I mean, you do use a sword sometimes, but for, like, a limited time, but you mainly use echoes and things. But when I say nothing was really sacrificed, I mean in terms of, like, the worlds and dungeons and different things. It still feels very much like a 2D Zelda game in that aspect. It just feels like you're kind of playing it differently and playing it with a different moveset, I would say. And the echo mechanic is really fun as well. In a way, it kind of feels like a lot of them are kind of based on existing Zelda items, but have like a new spin on it. It almost feels like a Zelda equivalent of the captures from Super Mario Odyssey. In the captures in Mario Odyssey, some of them are reminiscent of power-ups and different abilities that you had in previous Mario games, but like tied to an enemy. Whereas in Echoes of Wisdom, where you have different echoes, they're kind of reminiscent of either different functions in like puzzles, or different items, or weapons that you had available in previous Zelda games. But it kind of gives it a sense of, like, creativeness, and it feels more like a sandbox style game, like when kind of having it in that way. And the other really cool thing is about the echoes is that in a lot of areas, you don't really have to solve like the puzzles or traverse the world in like a set way, because you can really basically do it in any way that you want. I think it's fun to do it in a way that isn't the intended solution, either if it's just like a really unnecessarily complicated way that's just funny, like stacking up a bunch of beds and doing something like that, or actually doing something that's more efficient than the intended solution of a puzzle. I think that's really fun that Nintendo actually kind of gives you those options to try to solve puzzles in various ways with these echoes, and it is just very fun. And these dungeons are actually, I would say, they're just as fun as like previous Zelda 2D Zelda dungeons, I would say. I mean, yeah, they are on the easy side, I would say, but they still are pretty well designed, and the puzzles are definitely pretty clever. And the world building in this game is also amazing as well. It uses the Link's Awakening art style since it was developed by Grezzo and is seemingly running in the same engine as Link's Awakening, but it I love this visual style. I think it looks great. In another video, I made the comparison that it's kind of like Zelda's equivalent of Paper Mario. I know, like, you could technically say that about, like, the Wind Waker style, too, but, um, I definitely like the charm of this style as well, and it was really cool seeing a lot of, like, past Zelda enemies in this style. Like, there are, like, a lot of enemies in this game, which kind of makes sense, as, like, all of them are echoes and things. But seeing ones like the Deku Babas and different things like that are pretty interesting. Also, like the Gibdos, Redeads. There's like quite a lot of enemies in this game, like spanning both like 2D Zelda and 3D Zelda's history, and I think it's pretty cool seeing them in this, like, Link's Awakening remake style here. So I'm glad they stuck with that style. And then another thing with Zelda being the main protagonist, I think that is really cool as well. That's the first time we've had that since the CDI games, of course we have to acknowledge them since they are very important parts of Zelda history, but I think that's also really cool as well. It's kind of a funny coincidence that it happens the same year as Princess Peach Showtime as well. But honestly, I think it's like an even better kind of way of handling like the major female character of a series kind of getting their own game and kind of having their own identity with a moveset. While I do love how Peach Showtime handles it, despite that game's problems, I feel like it feels a little more natural with how they handle like Zelda with her identity, with like her whole mechanic that she uses with the echoes and everything. But that's probably due to the fact that this is a mainline game rather than a spin-off like Peach Showtime. But yeah, and the story is pretty interesting as well. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it is pretty cool, and I would say it is pretty good for 2D Zelda standards. But yeah, I am really enjoying this game so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to finishing it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Goodbye.